Okay, so as I said, I'm Anna Green, one of the field officers, and I work primarily in Belfast City Council. Now we have had four new field officers come in this year, and so they will be working throughout the different council areas in Northern Ireland. You should have already had, but they've only started really 3 weeks ago. So if they haven't been in contact, they will be in contact like very, very soon, just to let you know that if they are new to the area and who to contact. However, if you're used to being in contact with any particular field officer and you prefer to stick with them, that's fine. Okay. So what I'll have here is just a quick PowerPoint presentation about the Action Plan Clinic. If you have any questions, we'll just leave it to the end and you can either pop them in the chat or we'll just talk about them afterwards. So I'll just share a screen here. Now I'll share a screen. Right, where do we go? Sorry. I've got too many screens, that's the problem. Okay, so you should hopefully see, can you see the PowerPoint all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's always a good sign. Happy days. Okay, so as I say, EcoScreens, it's one of the largest global sustainable programs throughout the world. Okay, so we operate in now, I think it's 74 countries around the world. Okay, and actually Belfast or Northern Ireland was one of the first ones to have a green flag going to Downpatrick Nursery, I think it was. So today I want to talk a little bit about the action plan itself and then about the actual data zone and how you would be uploading data to that. So first things first, when you go to the website, you will see you have details about the green flag criteria. You also have different topics there. So there's 11 topics that can be studied in total. There you have the projects that we do. So we're probably over 20 projects now that are offered to schools. The different awards, different delivery partners we work with, and then the resources, okay? And we've teamed up with Twinkle this year and they have basically updated a lot of our resources, which is fantastic. So they are there for you. So feel free to have a look and see if there's anything there that could be of use to you. So using the school zone. So this is really the place where you keep track of any of the EcoScreens awards, your green flag application, and also the topics that you are working on, okay? And any projects that you've been involved in. It's somewhere else where you can also store the data that you've collected. So the likes of pupil work, photos, videos, surveys, any audits, things like that. These should be stored there in support of your application. So creating your action plan, what we advise you to do really is to using your environmental review as a starting point. So by doing this should point you in the direction of the topics that you would like to study throughout your current application. Your action plan will be where you set your goals for ideally a 2-year period of time. Okay, so think about what your end goal is and how you're going to achieve it. Now, as I say, it is a 2-year process, so you do just be aware that you don't need to, complete this in one term or in one academic year. It's also, it's really a student-led program. Okay, so try to give as much responsibility to your pupils as is possible. Obviously, with the younger primary ones, that may need be a little more support, but that's not to say that they can't be involved, and certainly upper primary and above are more than able to take on a lot of the duties involved.
Anna, may
yes.
It's Dara McCahey here. There's
yes,
just
hi.
on the chat we have a couple. We've noticed there's a big black square on the about the middle of your presentation there.
Where?
and a few of us can see it.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's when you go to chat, it's roughly where the chat box would be. Now there's an even bigger one.
Oh, it's gone.
It's obscuring a lot of the wording there. I mean, you know.
Is it away?
It's gone now.
It's gone now. I can't see it, but I'll switch off my chat now. Then thank you. That's great.
Oh right. Oh right. Sorry about that.
Not at all.
Sorry.
I'm back to mute.
Thank you. Sorry. So as I said, basically using your environmental review as a starting point. So you would select the topics that you want to choose. Bear in mind, as I say, it is a 2-year process. Think about what you would like to achieve at the end of it and try to break it down into manageable chunks, okay? Share it out amongst other staff as well. Okay? It's not just yourself to take the burden. So try and get other members of staff to, to help you out with that. Also just consider what data that you would be able to collect as your evidence. Okay. Can I just ask people to make sure that we've got the things muted, please? Just there's a wee bit of feedback there. Thanks. So we often get the same similar type of questions every year. So as I say, it is a 2-year document, your action plan. So what we've decided to do is really work it from academic year. So if you were starting this year, you'd be starting September 22, and that would go through right until March 24, okay? There was previously, we had sort of given schools a bit of leeway so that we can get everybody into the same kind of time frame. If you're not too sure about when your flag is going to expire or anything like that, as I say, just get in contact with us and we will be able to set you right. If you have been, and this has come up quite often, that there have been schools that have been doing a lot of environmental things throughout the school in the past academic year and maybe have not actually started the green flag application process. If you have enough information from the previous year, you can certainly write your action plan retrospectively, meaning that you would be able then to complete it in one academic year, okay? And again, that would just take a wee chat with your field officer just to ensure that you would have enough data to take you forward throughout the 2 years. One thing we do ask as well is when you're reapplying for your green flag, that you must change at least your major topic, okay? You can keep your minor topics the same if you wish, or you could perhaps change that into your major, but you must change your major topic, okay? And it's just to get a variety of studying the different topics throughout the whole process. Your eco committee ideally would be comprised of pupils throughout the school. Now, previously during COVID, this wasn't possible because of bubbling and because of just the whole, everything was just really up in the air at the time. If you have an one class as an eco committee, that's okay, but just sort of moving forward, a nice spread of pupils or age range throughout the committee is ideal, and also make sure that everybody gets involved. When you're talking about evidence for your applications, you're thinking about surveys, before and after knowledge, and you really want to track the distance travelled, really, so the information the pupils had previous to starting the topic and then what they're gaining throughout. Any project that you've done, any workshops, any activities that you've done with some of our delivery partners as well, all count towards your evidence. Videos, photographs, any written pieces of work as well are fantastic. And we also love to see if you are active on social media, even on your own website, that you would post things that you're doing and just basically keep everybody else up to date on what's going on within your own school. So this is your action plan, the action plan template. So it's pretty straightforward. Now you've got 6 columns there. So what ideally you would have is a problem statement, okay? Actions then that can address the problem. how you're going to target it, a time scale. Did you achieve your target, and what improvements could be made in the future? And these last two, the last two columns are extremely important. And we found actually last year that this was very much a weak point when it came to people's applications, in that there wasn't much of a focus on the sort of being reflective after you've done your activities and after you've done certain things, and perhaps looking to what you could improve in the future. Now, if you do not have this, this is on the website or a blank template, or you'll be able to get it. We could send it to you. But what we have here are is examples, sample ones from last year. Okay. Now this was from a primary school, and this was actually one of our top primary schools throughout Northern Ireland that's that did get their green flag, and also an additional Eco School of the Year additional prize. So basically this was just like an ideal action plan for us. Okay, everything was very, very easily laid out. So you can see there, problem statement: to reduce the amount of recyclable materials being sent to landfill. Okay, actions that can address this. So incorporating the caretaker to speak with the Eco Council. Also, different individual classes were all informed. Okay, so again, it's about spreading your message throughout the entire school. Okay, how will you target the problem? This particular school had little eco elves, and I know it's the same throughout different schools. And this is basically having children monitor the rubbish bins at the end of the day, and they will kind of report back to the eco coordinator and just let them know, sort of name and shame, if you like, but just seeing how each class were getting on with their efforts. The time scale, okay, now be realistic about it, because things aren't going to change overnight. Okay, so allow yourself the time. Did you achieve your target? And this is the important bit for us. If you didn't achieve it, it doesn't matter. Okay, it really doesn't matter. The important thing there is that you can identify maybe what you could do, maybe what didn't go too well, and what you could do in the future to improve on it. Okay, it's just anything that you'd be doing in your normal everyday teaching. So this particular instance, that they were successful in the reduction of recyclable being sent to landfill, and as I say, incorporating also the using the caretaker, the different teachers within the school. Okay, so it's nice to have everybody involved to get a chance to sort of do their own thing. I think this is just, again, a continuation of the same action plan. So something that all happens in schools, or used to anyway, paper notes being sent home. Okay, I think nowadays it's all done online. Okay, but there you can see an example. If you want this particular example, we do have other sample ones like this. Pop your email address in the chat, and I can send it to you afterwards. Okay, so it's just so that you can have a look and see the kind of level of information that you'll be required to have for your actual application itself. And you know what? It's always helpful to just see maybe what other schools are doing as well. Again, that's just another template there. And other examples. Okay, so we have one there for energy, healthy living, outdoor learning. As I say, these can all be sent on to you afterwards, so you can sort of look at them in your own time. Basically, in a nutshell, that is actually that is really the crux of what I wanted to speak about. If you want to get in contact with us, you all have your individual field officers. I will send that out in the email just to double check that you all know who your field officer is for your area, and who indeed the new field officer is. But if you want to get in contact with us, again, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, okay, all of the usual social media platforms is where you'll find us. So I'll just stop sharing here for a moment. Now, I appreciate that was kind of sort of a very quick run through, if you like, of an action plan, and has anyone got any particular questions, not necessarily even about the action plan, but if it's something else you have, you were wanting to get any information about at all?
Can have a look. I don't think you get much less. That's anyway decent. Man, the selection books, but I can have a look.
You know them Santas, them chocolate Santas, absolutely.
There's dear
Oh,
as
are they?
well.
Okay, someone's having a chat there. I don't know what that was there.
Sorry, I was just wondering, applications, I suppose, closed in March time last year. Is it the same? I presume it's the same for this year around March time then? Or is there
Yes, yeah. So if, for example, so Paul, is it was speaking there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what stage would you be at in your application? Would you be ready to apply for your green flag this academic year?
We started our action plan back in March 2020, so we're coming to the end of the 2-year cycle, so we'll be hoping to have all submitted by March time.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it's still March then, yeah.
Yeah. If you see if for any reason you find that maybe you may not meet that March deadline, get in contact with your field officer, keep in contact with them, and they'll be able to keep you right. If there's anything that we can do to help you along, give you a bit of advice, point in the right direction of anybody, be sure to let us know, because yes, it's a deadline for March, but obviously, there will be leeway to a certain extent.
Yeah.
We're not going to completely, shut things down come March, but just keep in contact with your field officer, let them know how you're getting on with your application, and they'll be able to keep you right.
What date would it be, I suppose, after Easter for assessments then, or visits?
So what we're hoping to do now this year is in-person visits. They were all done previously, all desk-based. So yes, it would be, when's Easter next year?
It's more or less the start of April, 6th.
Okay, so it would probably be it'll be after April, after Easter, definitely.
Yeah, no worries.
We'd be doing that. As I say, you would get plenty of notice. Okay, nobody's going to arrive out at the school without prior notice. So don't be worried about that.
Yes.
But yes, and if for instance we have been out at the school maybe doing a couple of workshops and know the school well, there may not be a physical visit. We may be content to see that we have, we've seen enough of the school to know exactly what's going on, or we would be content to do a desk assessment. But other than that, there will be actual physical visits. So don't worry, you'll be kept well informed.
I'm doing a webinar here
of when that would be.
Right.
So there'll be no surprises there at all.
20 minutes. Sorry, Beth.
Okay. Any other questions or queries? Anything they'd like to clear up or clarify? This is where everybody goes deathly silent. No?
Can I just check, will you be able to send, you're recording this, will you be able to send the recording? I missed the very start of it, sorry.
That's no problem. Yeah, I can say it is being recorded. So yes, that's not a problem. I can send it to, is it Jamie, is it?
Yes.
Yep, that's no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as I say, if anybody missed the beginning, just let me know and I can send the recording to you once I work out how to do that, but I will. I don't know how to do it yet. I'm sure it's pretty straightforward.
That as well, please. I missed the start. I logged on at 25 minutes, but I only got on about 5 minutes ago.
That's no problem, Lynn. Yeah, that's not a problem. As I say, what I will do is send I'll send the recording to you and those sample action plans and the action plan template. And as I say, if there's any particular, if you find that you're doing a topic and maybe you might be struggling a bit with it, again, get in contact with your field officer. They will be able to do a wee bit of kind of poking about and give you a bit of a, maybe give you examples of what other schools have done for similar topics. Okay, or, it's because everyone's just, working towards the same thing. So it's always good to kind of share what everyone else is doing as well. Anybody else have anything they would like to ask?
I have a wee question.
Yeah.
It's just with regard to the action plan. So I think previously we would have kind of submitted the action plan, but not have the 2 columns complete, you know, the last improvement one, last 2, because, you know, we were still kind of working on them, but we do you recommend actually, you know, filling that in as if the whole program is completed in March? You know, we would have kind of been working towards it for the end of June.
Yes, and that's again, now, again, we're looking to sort of tweak things as we go, but even just a rough idea of how you are getting on. So obviously things may not be completed until, you know, until June, but even just if you're, you know, if you're able to say, yes, so far we have been successful in whatever the particular thing is, and maybe, but, you know, we're still working towards something else. Just we found that it was kind of, I left sort of as a last kind of left out, to be honest, a lot of the time. So just if you can give any kind of indication as to your success and what you've done. We do appreciate that, yes, you're still working towards things, but if anything, just any kind of progress that you've made in the topics or any particular activity that you're doing.
And then if it's like a 2-year document, then would you recommend only doing the environmental review every 2 years?
Yeah.
Rather than
I mean, nothing is going to really dramatically change within, you know, from year to year, as it were. And I suppose the main point of the environmental review is to guide you towards topics that the school perhaps, you know, if there's very obvious things. But you can also just choose to do the topics independently. You don't necessarily have to, although you have to complete the environmental review, you don't have to automatically follow those topics that it would, you know, you maybe see that maybe it would suggest you do.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Any other questions at all? No. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do is I will send the blank action plan and that sample, those sample ones on to yourselves, and also with the name and email address of the new officer within your area. If you have any problems, just feel free to contact us honestly at any time, an email, and we will get back to you ASAP. So if that is everything for today, thanks a lot for coming on. Hopefully things are a little bit clearer now. And as I say, once you get a good look at the action plans, have a look at them and see, just give you a little kind of little heads up on what other people are doing as well. Okay, it's always good to kind of share what everybody else has been doing, which is great. Tell us this before I actually go. How do I save the chat? There we go. Got it. Sorry. Yes, I actually should have checked that beforehand. Listen, again, thank you so much for coming on. Any problems at all, just contact your field officer and they will be able to, yes, if you anyone just put any info in the chat there and I will forward on the recordings if you want them as well. That's not a problem.